This large 7-seat SUV is the new MG QS. It's big, it's cheap, it's handsomely equipped, and has more showroom appeal than a half-price Toyota Prado. It's an impressive rig and has the makings of one of the best 7-seater SUVs out there. But there are a few red flags worth knowing about before you sign on the dotted line, and one of them could be a deal breaker. The MG QS is the largest vehicle offered by the budget brand in Australia and measures up against established 7-seat SUVs like the Toyota Kluger, Hyundai Santa Fe and Nissan Pathfinder. Unlike those models, however, this newcomer is significantly cheaper to buy. As cost of living pressures continue to impact consumer spending behaviour,
I couldn't bring myself to spend one of these.
Budget brands like MG will continue to find favour with buyers looking to save money.
I'd like your finest bottle of wine, please.
That will be $1,600.
Great. I'd like your $8-est bottle of wine, please.
First revealed in 2022 in China, where it's called the RX-9, much to Mazda's amusement, I would think, this is the first time the vehicle has been built for a right-hand drive market. And there are several telltale signs that suggest the conversion to right-hand drive was a bit rushed. But first, money matters. The MG QS entry-level two-wheel drive Excite is priced from just under $47,000, and that buys you a lot of metal for your coin. In fact, the latest large Chinese Chariot is priced more in line with SUVs one size smaller, like the Tucson or RAV4. The top spec all-wheel drive Essence version we're testing today is priced at just under $51,000. Drive away, no more to pay, which still represents very good value for money, especially when you consider the generous equipment list. Finished in Regency Green Premium paint, an $800 option, you can also tick the box for a beige interior, adding $700 to the price. The MG QS gets an impressive 10-year warranty, if you stick to MG dealers for servicing. Venture elsewhere and it drops to 7 years. It's the same deal as Nissan's and Mitsubishi's 10-year warranties, where stepping outside of the dealer network cuts your coverage short. After-sales support is strong in terms of warranty, but not servicing. This is a lot more expensive every time you take it to the dealership than a Santa Fe or a Kluger. In fact, if you get this serviced every year for 7 years, it's going to cost around $7,000, averaging out to $1,000 per year. That's big bickies. To compare, Kluger hybrid owners will pay just under $2,600 over 7 years to get their car serviced. And here's food for thought. There's a savage service in year 6 for the MG QS that alone costs nearly $3,000. That's a significant chunk of cash, and I wonder how many buyers will ditch their car after 5 years based solely on that impending hit. Okay, the exterior styling won't be to everyone's taste with its evil robot smiley face. It's kind of evil and smiley. And there's a lot of plastic chrome going on. Some of it works, the badge, a little bit at the front, on the flanks and the sides, it's a bit overdone in my view. I do like the LED intensive headlights. You've got this big LED driving light as well. But what do you think? Good design, bad design? Let me know in the comments. The big 21-inch alloy wheels add presence, and the high-quality Michelin tyres are a nice surprise too. The LED taillights look smart, complete with a full-width light bar. But the fake exhaust pipes, these are a bit of an anachronism. Isn't everyone trying to hide the fact they're burning hydrocarbons these days? The door handles look cool, but could be irksome in the long run. Overall, it's clear this is a new car, but it doesn't have the visual braggadocio of a Santa Fe. Power is provided by a 2-litre turbocharged petrol engine driving all 4 wheels, pumping through a conventional 9-speed automatic transmission. The MG QS's mechanical beating heart reads okay on paper. It's got reasonable vital statistics, but in practice, it is not a class-leading power plant. Far from it, and I'll get to the whys and wherefores a little later. There's also no hybrid option, which is disappointing and something many of its rivals now offer. This all looks and feels pretty schmick. I mean, you've got these 2 big high-res digital screens joined at the hip, behind one pane of glass, this one's slightly facing the driver. The overall design is quite sleek, the layout is good, I know where most things are, and even material quality is surprisingly upmarket, but there's a few ergonomic issues. The indicator stalk is on the wrong side, not to mention the USB ports. Good luck trying to plug in a USB cable without double-jointed elbows. I don't know if you noticed, but it even has Ultimate badges on the outside. In Australia, the Ultimate model grade doesn't even exist.
That's an odd name. I'd have called them Chazwazzers.
A bit more attention to detail would help with first impressions, but hey, the price is very sharp and these aren't deal-breaking issues. Fit and finish is generally pretty good, and again, for the price, one could argue it's very good. Soft touch dash plastics are nice, and the doors and transmission tunnel are finished in a synthetic leather with overt stitching that adds an upmarket touch. Even the plastics below the beltline aren't too cheap or scratchy, although the fake wood grain trim looks and feels pretty nasty. Surprisingly, the seats feature real leather, and it's none too shabby. The cushioning is on the soft side, and me personally, I prefer a bit more support, but the seats are nothing if not comfortable, and they come with heating and cooling functionality as well, which is nice. You've got to activate them through the touchscreen. And there's also a good sense of space in this car. It's got a lot of width, and I like the fact that I've got a bit of personal room sitting here. I'm not feeling like I'm encroaching on the front passenger. Getting a comfy seating position isn't too challenging thanks to 8-way power adjust for driver and front passenger, plus 4-way power lumbar adjust for the driver. The squared off steering wheel has a quality feel to it and is one of the few things that's familiar with other MG models, like the MG4. The controls are stylized and simple, and the wheel itself is nice to touch and perforated where your hands come to rest, adding a hint of tactile splendor. The gear shifter is neat and tidy as well and has satisfying feedback when engaging drive and reverse. And I like the accompanying controls with drive mode select and park brake options. The key fob is really cool too. I like this because it pays homage to the brand's roaring raindrop speed machine, which set several records in the 1950s. It's a nice little tip of the hat to the brand's heritage. Storage solutions are plentiful in the cabin, but ergonomics execution leave a little to be desired. So you've got this medium-sized central bin here. That's good. You can put some stuff in there. But this loose fitting section here would annoy the hell out of me. I'd just be like, come on, I paid 50 grand for this car. Can you get some flush fitting? Anyway, there's two concealed cup holders here, reasonably sized. I can get the 750ml bottle in there, so that's pretty good, and they'll fit coffee cups and whatnot. Plus there's two phone beds here. One of them is a wireless phone charger, which is always handy. But then coming back to the ergonomics issue, this section down here is good and quite large. You could put, you know, handbag, wallet, chewy, whatever down there. And you've got 12-volt socket in there somewhere, I think, and two USB-Cs. But no matter which side you come from, they're out of sight and they're kind of hard to get to. So I feel like USB-C ports up here might have been a better idea. You've got a small glove box, sunglasses holder, and the door pockets are reasonably sized. They do fit the Mega Gulp with a bit of a shove. So overall, not too bad. The twin 12.3-inch digital screens look great, but there's a few issues with them, most notably the lack of processing power. Touch response is okay. It's not too bad, and sometimes you need a slightly harder push. And while the processor is not bad, it's not the quickest out there. So some menus do take a little longer to load up than others. And that can be frustrating, especially when things like climate control and the car's safety systems are buried deep within several menus. It's, yeah, it can wear a little thin. There's a drag to open shortcut menu which helps, allowing you to disable some safety features and adjust the volume, because there's no physical dial, but it's not customizable. You can reset the whole kit and caboodle by holding down the home button for 15 seconds, which sometimes speeds things up, but not always. These physical controls down here, however, are quite handy and they feel pretty good. You've got quick access to the home button, you've got fan speed, quick defrost, you can hit auto climate control. But another issue is when you go to the climate settings and you want to adjust this fan here, you've got to go through a few modes. So you've got to hit this button and it's only available when face blow. Okay, so let's put face blow mode. Then we hit that, then it pops up, and I think I know which direction it's going, but it's a little bit avoid blowing towards people, blow towards people. There's a lot of blowing and it all feels a bit clunky to me. I think there's a better way to do it, and yeah, I'm just confused. Frustratingly, MG has newer and faster, smarter and more intuitive options at its disposal, which we've seen in the MG S5 EV. While MG is starting to hit its straps with new product, this vehicle feels like it's a step backwards in some ways. Smartphone mirroring, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto both work wired and wirelessly, and they normally work as expected. There we go. Sometimes they're a little bit sluggish with that slow-ish processor, but mostly they work the way you expect them to. Weirdly though, my Apple iPhone always had to be reconnected to the car via Bluetooth and then to get wireless CarPlay every time I got in the car and started it up, whereas it didn't seem to be a problem with Android phones, which is strange. I had that same issue with the Mahindra 3XO, but let's bear in mind, that car is about half the price of this one. As for infotainment features, the MG QS is feature-packed, so kudos to the car maker for cramming in a lot of gear, although the lack of a head-up display is an opportunity missed. The large digital driver's display looks fantastic. It's crisp, it's clear, it's high-res. It's actually got really good satellite navigation integration as well. It uses the vehicle's actually pretty reasonable native GPS sat-nav. That said, there's not a lot of telemetry. There's not many screens to go through. You've got your basic trip computer and fuel economy and stuff like that, but it's a bit piecemeal. And another thing I'm lamenting is the lack of traditional speedometer and tachometer. I'm a bit old school like that, but the only three screens you've got are speed, map, and intelligent drive, and they kind of all look the same. The car also comes with a 12-speaker Bose stereo that, with a little tuning, does sound reasonably good. The parking camera system is rather nice, with impressive visual quality and large video feeds that fill up most of the screen. The 360-degree overhead view is good, and it's easy to switch between rear, front, and side views, but there's no 3D spin-around mode to speak of. The MG QS hasn't been tested by Independent Safety Authority ANCAP, and while it does come with a reasonable amount of protective gear, such as 7 airbags, including a front central head airbag, the lack of an official NCAP rating will be a turn-off for some buyers. Okay, the back seats are spacious, comfortable, and versatile. And I'm getting a little peckish though, I will admit this. There is an ice cream van playing his song, and yum yum, I could totally go soft serve right now. But anyway, versatility, check this out. Have a look at that range of movement. That is seriously impressive. So you can go up front here like this, and I've still got okay knee room here, and you give the third row passengers a bit more leg room, or there's a bit more boot space. We can be super selfish and just chill back and relax. This is good. This is a lot of room. This area here is nice and flat, so it's easy to move things in and out, getting child seats in and out. Absolute doddle. Also, you've got a little adjuster here so you can tilt the seat back as well. That is impressive. You can get really comfy, and check out how wide this central armrest is. This is like the one out of the GMC Yukon. This is pretty good. I do like this. I really do want an ice cream right now. It's almost like being in the Geely EX5 pre-update with the ice cream sound. But anyway, so that's all really impressive. Headroom is okay, but I'm not too upset because this panoramic glass roof is huge. Double pane, gives you a beautiful view out, and it has an actual physical sunblind as well, which you want in Australia. It's not the best, but it's better than nothing. I do like that. And comfort levels overall are like the front seats. They're the cushioning is really soft, and yeah, this is a pretty impressive second row, I gotta say. Amenity is very good for second row passengers. You've got your own climate control Nexus here. You've got auto, you've got fan control, temperature, mode, and then you can pump them through these adjustable ceiling mounted air vents. I like that. Plus you've got softly damped grab handles, coat hooks, really good LED reading lights. They're really good at night, nice and bright. My kids love the windows that go all the way down. They're little shorties, so they can actually see out of that. And it's made for families. Check it out, anti-pinch. Oh, that worked. Okay, good. There's twin USB-C ports, which is nice. Plus you've got door pockets. There's pockets here. Someone's put a muesli bar wrapper in there. The Grub, I know who that was. And of course you've got twin ISOFIX and triple top tether child seat anchorages. Getting into the third row is easy when you're parked in a car park like this, but not so easy when you're curbside. Because again, the hasty right-hand drive conversion has meant MG's engineers haven't had time to swap over some important elements. So it is a little bit hard getting in from the curbside because there's no quick release button like on this side. Bit of yanking, bit of pulling, you can do it eventually. But anyway, that is disappointing. However, there is a reasonable amount of room back here. I've got okay headroom, got the headrest there, that's not too bad. And comfort levels are pretty good as well. And MG says this is an actual 7-seater, not a 5+2 like some models say, the Mitsubishi Outlander and Nissan X-Trail. They're saying this is a proper 7-seater. And I wouldn't want to spend too much time back here as an adult, but short trips would be fine. And for kids, not a problem. And those short trips for adults will be fine as well because there's a USB port, where is it? Around here somewhere. There's one over here, USB-A, cup holders, places for your phone. I mean, amenity is not bad. You've got reading lights, you've got these vents in the ceiling. They have actually done a reasonable job back here. I just wish the quick release was on the curbside. All MG QS models get a power-operated tailgate, and it reveals a fair bit of cargo space, even with the third row seats in place. You could get a big grocery shop, half a dozen bags of mulch. You could probably squish your mother-in-law in there as well. Amenity is pretty good too. And I like that under here, you've got the cargo cover stuck underneath here. So you've got a spot for it, which I absolutely love. There's also tools in here for the jack. That clicks into place, nice. And there's a spare tire underslung underneath. It's a space saver, but it's better than nothing. Other bits and bobs in the boot that will come in handy in everyday life include 2 cargo net anchorages that also double as bag hooks. That's good. You've got the tie-down anchorages. They're actually quite sturdy metal ones too. There's a 12-volt socket for a little bit of extra power. Plus, there's handy little clips to keep those third row seat belts out of your hair, and a pretty good LED light as well. Folding the seats down is via shoulder latches and opens up more space. And if you fold down the second row seats as well, you get a very large storage area with a fairly flat floor. While there's a number of irritating and indeed mismatched elements to this interior, there's no denying this is a versatile and very cost-effective 7-seat family SUV. But the way it drives could be a deal breaker. After spending a week in MG's Big Bertha, I'm actually really impressed with how this vehicle behaves and interacts with the road. Except for one thing, the powertrain and the safety nannies. Okay, that's 2 things. The 2-litre turbo petrol engine generates its power and torque relatively high in the rev range. So the lack of low and mid-range punch and tractability, along with that 2-ton curb weight, makes it feel a little bit anemic at times. And this is exacerbated by sloppy throttle calibration and a lethargic gearbox. And it's almost as if the car pulses or surges, and especially from standstill. The throttle calibration or response from the accelerator pedal is wishy-washy at wider openings, but it feels a bit better with gentle acceleration. Will it be a deal breaker? Quite possibly. This is certainly one of the least impressive powertrains I've sampled in a recently released Chinese car. That said, the effortless steering and that oddly shaped steering wheel make tight shopping centre car parks and wheel twirling very, very easy. But that general sense of laziness with the powertrain combined with the intrusive safety nannies can make this vehicle a little draining to drive at times. The speed sign recognition system struggles to distinguish between yellow advisory speeds and the actual legal posted speed limit. As such, the car will constantly beep and nag you for doing 20 in a 50 zone, for instance. And turning all these systems off requires a fair bit of menu diving, and annoyingly, or as far as I've figured out, you've got to do it every single time you start the car up. But that's where the criticisms end and the plaudits begin, because what the MG QS lacks in driveline civility, it more than makes up for in ride and handling. Indeed, this is a very pleasing SUV to steer, whether you're pootling around the suburbs, which is what I'm doing now, or cruising down fast and flowing country roads. It's fitted with adaptive dampers that can be adjusted via the drive mode selector, and together with its independent suspension setup, it blends impressive body control with good ride comfort. You only get adaptive dampers on this top spec Essence model grade, but I reckon that extra $4,000 is worth the price of admission alone. And that's not even including all that extra equipment you get with this model. Consider this car rides on big 21-inch alloys, and it makes this vehicle's pleasant ride quality, especially over bigger hits and speed bumps, all the more remarkable. Which in turn is what makes the underwhelming engine and gearbox combos so frustrating. This could have been a real contender. Anyway, refinement levels are generally good. There's not much road or wind noise to speak of, although when you wring the engine's neck, it sometimes sounds like a food processor having a conniption. Fuel efficiency is neither great nor horrendous, but matching the sub 9 litres per 100k manufacturer's claim was beyond me. I ended up with just over 11 litres per 100. It's got a pretty big 65 litre fuel tank, but requires premium fuel, 95 octane or higher. Outward vision is okay with big wing mirrors and large side windows, but the front windscreen and rear windscreen are a little bit pinched, and they can make the car feel a bit confined at times. The cruise control and lane keep assistance systems are acceptable rather than seamless and smooth like many of its rivals, but this is something a bit of software code could easily fix. Overall, there's a lot to like here. This is a very impressive SUV in a dynamic sense, and the fact it has expertly tuned adaptive dampers at this price is almost unheard of. MG's chassis engineers deserve a gold medal for calibrating this SUV's really nice blend of ride comfort, road holding, and indeed handling confidence. But at the end of the day, I'd argue a tractable powertrain with predictable response is more desirable in a big family SUV than stellar handling dynamics. This really could have been a consequential vehicle in the Aussie new car market. And who knows, perhaps it still could be with a little bit of engineering TLC. Another element that needs work is probably the power delivery and or traction control calibration. This is supposed to be an all-wheel drive, and yes it is, but it often takes time to shuffle power to the rear axle. So when you're turning out of a T intersection, sometimes even in the dry, you give it a bit too much welly. Those front wheels spin a little bit before the car's sensors figure out what's going on, and that could be unnerving for some drivers. This Chinese Challenger lacks polish in a number of areas, but there's plenty of positives on its report card too. Chief among them, impressive value for money, a large and versatile interior, and a generous equipment list. With some strategic tweaks, the MG QS would be a lot easier to recommend. But that frustrating tech, the lackluster powertrain, ergonomic relics, and a question mark over safety have arguably robbed MG of what should have been a slam dunk success. Thanks for coming along for the ride, and do you own one of these or thinking about it? And have I missed anything? Let me know in the comments, and see you next time.